everyone, I'm Erica. I'm the Technology Services Librarian here at the Athenaeum, and it is my turn for a mystery box. Now, I'm very excited to get all of the wonderful presents that my wonderful coworkers have set aside for me. I know that they are pretty darn good at picking books, and a good number of them know my tastes already. But when I did fill out a form talking about what I like, I had put down for the books that I've read recently that I enjoy, For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten, Harmony Black by Craig Schaefer, and The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek by Rhett McLaughlin and Link Neal, of Good Mythical Morning, of course. And it's kind of a wide range, but kind of looking more for fantasy adventure kind of books, maybe some romantic subplots here and there, fantasy elements in normal settings, or, plot-driven, just fantasy adventures. I asked people to look for items from the adult section, from the young adult section, and from graphic novels or manga, because I do like reading those as well. So let's dive right into it. Let's see what my coworkers picked for me. Okay, the first one we've got The Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry. That sounds incredible. That's an awesome title right off the bat. So we have a con artist, occasional thief, and partly educated fire witch who's behind on her rent. Sounds like a heist of a good fantasy heist of a fire witch and a young gentlewoman. Okay, this sounds right up my alley, so I'm gonna put this in my, yes, this sounds like a good fit. I'm not gonna promise that I'm gonna read any of these right away, because as a librarian, my to-read list is very long, but I will be kind of noting what fits well with me and what might not be quite as good a fit. So let's grab the next one. Random. We've got a delicious dungeon, and we've got a picture of a knife, a knight holding a spatula and a pan. So let's see where this goes. Okay. So it looks like this is, my guess is a graphic novel, judging by the looks of it, of a young adventurer and his party who are beaten by monsters in a dungeon, and they lose all their money and provisions and decide, let's eat the monsters. So this is something I'm intrigued by. I don't know if it's a perfect fit for me, so I'm gonna put it in the middle because it is just a paper and not a book from our immediate collection. I'll have to check in CW Mars or online on our Libby or Overdrive site to see if it's available there. But that is, my curiosity has been piqued, but it doesn't feel as me as the Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry does. So I'm gonna put it in the middle pile here. And again, that was Delicious Dungeon by Kyoko Kui, so probably a manga. All right, next one. We've got Light from Uncommon Stars. This is actually on my reading list already, and my attention was drawn to it entirely by the cover. I do judge books by their cover from time to time. I am guilty of that. And this is a LGBTQIA plus friendly book. So this seems a little bit more romance with fantasy elements in it. Like I said, it's already on my to read list, so I'm gonna put it in the good fit for me pile. Next one, another paper one. All right, we've got Grey Walker. This one's available on e-audio. Somebody recommended it for me by printing it out from the catalog. It's on e-audio, which means I can get it from the Libby app or from Overdrive. So this is a Seattle PI who dies and then comes back to life after 2 minutes and is seeing some strange things around her. So that sounds very much like Harmony Black, which is one of the books I included on my list, which is kind of another fantasy private investigator sort of thing, kind of like the Dresden Files as well, if you've ever heard of those. I've read most of them at this point. Let's see, is this a good fit for me or a mostly good fit for me? I'd say it's a pretty good fit for me because I have read a lot of books in that genre, so it is a good book for things that I've read in the past. All right, next one. We've got Naomi Novik's Spinning Silver. I don't know if this is the I believe this is a book a little bit later in a series, and the first one of it is called Uprooted. Yes. Okay, the first one of it is called Uprooted. That is already on my to-read list. I have, like I said, I have a very extensive to-read list, and this just shows how good my coworkers are at picking out books that fit different people's personalities. Okay, so this one seems like it's about somebody who can turn silver into gold and has some trouble with fairy folk. I'm gonna put it in my middle pile of mostly up my alley, but not quite, just because it's the second one in a series. It might just be a situation where it's the second one that came out and isn't directly related to Uprooted, but I will hopefully get to that one eventually. So let's see this next one. We've got Moon Called by Patricia Briggs. Let's see. So this one seems kind of very, well, I mean, I can kind of get across what seems like the point of the book by the first sentence on the flap here. Mercy Thompson's sexy next door neighbor is a werewolf. So this definitely seems more, this seems very, it seems kind of urban fantasy, mostly romance. I'm actually going to put this on the less like me pile because while I do like romantic subplots and romantic tension in books, I usually don't go for books that are just about the romance. I do like having more plot, more action adventure in there. So I'm going to put this on the not for me pile for now. So again, that was Moon Called by Patricia Briggs. So the next one, oh, we've got The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Clune. This one is on my to-read list. And I believe that this book and a book by the same author are on both the lists for the speculative fiction book club that we have and the regular book club that we have. So if you're interested in reading this, if you like those fantasy adventures, head over to our book club page and you'll be able to see a little bit more about what those are about and when those club meetings are. So this is, let me just remind myself what it's about. All right, so it seems like this one's kind of one of those magical youth, coming of age, falling in love sort of stories. And it does sound absolutely lovely. So I'm gonna put this in the good for me pile. Like I said, it's already on my to-read list. My coworkers are good at what they do. So that's again The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Clune. Let me grab the next one. All right, we've got The Constant Rabbit by Jasper Ford. Now Jasper Ford also did the Thursday Next series, if I remember that name right, about a character named Thursday who travels through different books. I read the first one of that. It's a good time. Okay, there are 1.2 million human-sized rabbits living in the UK. You know, sometimes a book flap just knows how to get you from the first sentence. Okay, so this one is an interesting blend of satire, fantasy, and thriller. It sounds like it's rabbit people who move into an area and kind of learn to coexist with the humans. This doesn't sound like something I would like on the surface, but reading the description of it, it sounds funny, it sounds witty. I absolutely love authors who have a sense of humor as well as a good heart to their books, and that is what this sounds like. I'm gonna put it on the, actually I'm gonna put it in the middle because it doesn't sound like it would be a good fit for me right at the beginning, but my curiosity is piqued just like that first one. So again, that was The Constant Rabbit by Jasper Ford. Now that is one I will have, that's gonna stick in my mind, I think. All right, next one. We've got The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed. I did just, like I said, one of the books on my list was For the Wolf, which is kind of a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood mixed with Beauty and the Beast in there, and that's by Hannah Witten, so we'll see if this one's anything like that. All right, so this one's inspired by Hungarian history and Jewish mythology. Sounds like a woman without power is going on a mission with a disgraced prince. Got some good enemies to lovers stuff in here. I'm definitely very interested in this one. I'm gonna put this one in the good match for me one. It actually says in the little blurb on the top, it's a good match for people who like spinning silver, which is this one right here. So maybe that one's a better match for me than I think it is. So that one's definitely gonna get added to my to-read list. All right, next one. We've got, I know who did this. We've got Burn For Me by Alona Andrews. And I know that this is a romance fantasy. I have had this recommended to me before. So this is another PI detective sort of thing with fantasy elements in there. This one definitely seems much more heavy on the romance factor. And it looks like we don't have the first one of this, again, since it's in paper. So this would be something I would look on CW Mars for, see if any other libraries in our network have it. But again, it seems a little bit more heavy on the romance than the fantasy. So I'm gonna put this one in the middle, because normally if I saw something like that, I probably wouldn't be into it. But like I said, I have had this recommended to me a couple of times, so that is going on my maybe pile. Let's see. Got The Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu, I'm assuming. I believe this one's on my to-read list as well. It's just, I mean, with a title like that, how could it not be? So it's funny, this mentions Stranger Things, which is a really, really great, really enjoyable series that I absolutely adore. So this looks like it's somebody who speaks to ghosts, finds out that some bad things are happening in Edinburgh. So like I said, it's a good match for me. It's already on my to-read list. So, I mean, like I said, with a title like that, how could it not be? It's really interesting bringing in different literary aspects along with bringing those fantasy aspects in there too. So that's a really good fit for me. All right, next one we've got Plain Bad Heroines, a novel by Emily Danforth. Let me see what we've got. Oh, this is interesting. It's so after deaths at like a New England girls' school, you've got a film adaptation being made about it that it looks like there's a curse that messes with the cast and crew of the film adaptation. I feel like I've seen this cover before. I might have just seen it walking around the library. I don't know if it's on the, if I've already added it to my to-read list. I'm gonna put this one in the middle pile, because I'm not a huge fan of different thriller books. I've been kind of playing around with a little bit more kind of horror-based books, with like The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson and things like that. And maybe whoever recommended this to me knew that, had that in mind. So this is definitely interesting to me. I like the idea of kind of real life to book to film to cursed film adaptation. It's kind of like it feels like a behind the scenes of The Ring sort of thing. So I'm gonna put this one in the middle, just because, like I said, I'm not a huge thriller person, but it does sound interesting. Let's see. We've got a lot of paper ones in here, so a lot of opportunity for me to go find different ebooks, e-audiobooks. I love reading ebooks, and I love the collection that we have through CW Mars in the state of Massachusetts. So we've got The Grendel Affair by Lisa Sheeran. I feel like I've heard of this one before. I don't have a plot for it. One of the blurbs on the front is from Alona Andrews, who did the romance book that we just looked at. So that it sounds interesting. I mean, Grendel Affair. So Grendel is from Beowulf, so I'm assuming it's something related to modern PIs, kind of looking for those fantasy elements. So I'm gonna put that one in the maybe pile so that I can look it up later and see if there's any more info on it available somewhere. All right, Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz. I think I know who put this one in as well. This is one that I've been interested in. I've heard really good things about this. Let me double check. All right, so this one seems, again, down the PI line with somebody who the dead talks to. So trying to solve mysteries while being able to communicate with the dead. So that is very interesting to me. And like I said, I've had this recommended to me before. I am gonna put this in the probably yes pile. Again, that was Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz. Here we have The Bear and the Nightingale. This one I know is on my to-read list. Let's see. So this one is kind of more, it feels more Russian fairy tale kind of based. All right, so this one seems like strong female protagonist, kind of coming of age, using magic to protect her family. I am, like I said, already on my to-read list. My coworkers are good. So I'll put this on the good match for me pile. I like more female-oriented stories, of course, and I am kind of drawn to those more like coming-of-age stories that you especially see in different YA books, sort of like The Fifth Wave, things like that, that are like I'm struggling through some things, but also growing up as a person at the same time. All right, the last full book that we have in here is Ring Shout by T. Jelly Clark. I hope I pronounced that right. I know I've heard of this one before. I can't remember if I already have it on my to-read list. So this is kind of Ku Klux Klan plus demons and, you know, fighting that. That is interesting to me. I am going to probably put it in the middle. I am not a huge fan of more litfic elements. I like my books to be purely escapist. I am guilty of that. So I'm going to put it in the middle just because while it does sound like it has elements that I like, some cosmic horror stuff in there, some fantasy supernatural elements, and some cool action adventure, I am going to put it in the middle because I'm hesitant about some litfic elements. So, but I do think that is already on my to-read list. Oops. All right, Small Favors by Erin Craig. This sounds cute. So this is, again, sort of coming of age female protagonist trying to defend her town. It feels a little bit more youthful oriented, which is interesting, but I am interested in it for sure. It's strange activities hitting a town. Girl has to figure out, it looks like some monkey's paw sort of things, sort of shenanigans happening, and trying to defend the town and her family. So, yeah, I'm gonna put that in the, I'm definitely interested in that pile. And then the next one, again, that was Small Favors by Erin Craig. This next one is Son of the Storm by Suey Davies Okungboa, which I hope I pronounced correctly. And this is good because I did ask for more diverse authors. I have a tendency to read a lot of white authors, especially white cis straight authors. So having some opportunity to get some more diverse authors, which I'm assuming this author is, probably unfairly, but based on name alone, I am assuming this author is more diverse. It looks more kind of like Afrofuturism, which is a very interesting subject. All right, so this looks like a scholar who could achieve greatness, but wants to explore what's going on outside the city. So kind of a Belle from Beauty and the Beast situation. But mixed in with some magic, some action, stuff like that. So that sounds really, really interesting. I'm definitely gonna put that on my good match for me pile. And this one's the last one in the box. We've got Soul Swift, which again is already on my to-read list. I know this has been recommended for me by somebody else as well. So this is dark epic fantasy. I mean, those words alone, good match for me. Somebody has to rethink what she believes after being betrayed by the religion that raised her. So that is, like I said, it's already on my to-read list. I've heard plenty of good things about it. So, so yeah, I'm very interested in that. So we've got my moderate pile of books that match me, but so many of them are already on my to-read list. Sorry, guys. I've got my books that match me pretty well or have piqued my interest, but there's some things that I would probably want to look at a little bit more before I commit to saying yes to them, and ones that might not be a good fit for me right now. So if you are interested in this, I mean, this is just such a fun time being able to open and get all these wonderful presents from the wonderful librarians here. If you are interested in having something like this for yourself, we do have a form online you can fill out. You can tell us what you're interested in. We can give you a whole bag or a nice selection, or just even send you a list of different books that we think are going to be good fits for you. And you can either check them out from us, check them out from any library in CW Mars, or just check them out online or listen to them online. So yeah, I'm Erica, and this was my mystery box of fantasy adventure, and go get some recommendations. Our librarians are awesome.